So do you see how we just took that information, we turned it into a very powerful story? Was that story, I mean, was it usable? Did he have any objections along the way? Like, geez, Dave, maybe you should tell me more about the points you're going to charge me or anything else. Nothing, right? He just simply says, yes, let's move forward. Let's take the next steps. Because the only logical conclusion he can come to is, hey, this works. This is what I want. Kevin, how much time do I have left?
Until 3:15, whenever that is.
Excellent. We're going to go very, very fast. How to find your story. Developing interest. This is actually the key part of this. The important part about the story is the hook. The hook is what pulls you in, it's what sucks you in, it's what draws you in. I could have come in here and said I was raised in a really restrictive environment when I grew up, and we didn't have television in the home, and my mom was a very traditional kind of woman who believed in only wearing dresses and that kind of thing, and you would have went, yeah, that's like my grandma. But what did I say instead? I grew up in a cult. How many people go, a cult? Geez, I want to know more about that. Honestly, how many people thought, yeah, that's kind of interesting, I'd like to know more, right? Okay, so what would people find, and this is important when you're talking about your business story, what would people find surprising, shocking, incredibly interesting, or eye-opening about you, your industry, or business? So I could have pulled more out of him about what was shocking, right? He probably, if we would have talked about this, we would have found something that was very interesting or surprising about him. We may have found, I mean, I happen to know one thing that he shared with me earlier, that with a year or two ago, he was very, very shy. That's not something you find in investors every day. So we could have talked about that and how that was also overcoming or achieving his need for independence, right?
Dave, go
yes.
until 3:30. I just looked at my watch. I don't want to kill you. I'm worried about your health now.
Oh, no, I'm fine. But okay, so I'll make sure it's wrapped up between 3:15 and 3:30. What was the one defining moment, the aha moment that you had that led you with perfect clarity to the decision to do what you're doing today? Everybody has that moment. And when you talk about that moment, it's very similar because, see, at some point you made a decision about your business. You made a decision about doing your business. Have you ever had a wedding?
Have I ever had a wedding myself?
Yeah.
No.
Do you intend to at some point in your life, maybe?
No.
Okay, never going to get married?
Well, I mean, I don't have a plan right now.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, it can happen. Okay, do you have family or friends that got married?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So at some point you've accepted the whole idea that wedding photography is an important thing. And you bought into the idea that memories are even more important than the photography itself. So you have this thing. It was a defining moment when you came across it. Or it may have just been that you saw this photography that was so utterly amazing that you couldn't imagine not doing it. It could be your passion. So you find that thing. Then, what unique background do you have? What kind of special, arcane, or talent, arcane knowledge or talent do you have that you bring to this process? Do you have special or arcane talent or knowledge that you bring to the investing process?
Yes.
Okay, great. What is it?
Well, aside from the weight of the experience, you know, I've done an awful lot of building and developing. I had 14 years as a builder developer and all the other stuff.
Okay, great. So now he's talking about a very unique kind of experience. It separates him and sets him apart. In sales training, traditional sales training, we call this setting buying criteria. You would buy from me because I have more of this kind of experience than you do. What's your most amazing success story? What's the most amazing success story you have? Because see, as you tell a story about yourself, it's one thing. And then as you tell a story about another person, it becomes the other person putting themselves in the position of that success. Did you see how I moved him from just listening to my story and putting him in it, saying, you know, I'd like you to become a part of this. I'm involved in helping people achieve their dreams. Become a part of this with me now. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay. The next thing, what's the biggest risk someone takes or loss that they might face? Or what might they miss out on if they don't listen to your story and take action? What might happen if people didn't invest with you or didn't have you invest with them?
They lose out.
They lose out. But how specifically?
They don't have the opportunity to have the insight and expertise that I provide.
Okay. Are you ethical?
Absolutely.
Okay, maybe they miss out on that too. There could be any number of other things.
You know, that's almost a given. I don't really even talk in those terms because I think that comes from my speech pattern and how I present myself to the client.
That also comes across as somebody who's very smooth, right?
Well, I suppose, but you know, I can't identify the loss of any business because they thought I was either smooth or.
Of course not. The point is that some people will see your ability as being polished and presenting yourself in this way as being, there's something else I need to look at. So you just have to sometimes articulate for people through examples, not through saying, I'm an honest person, trust me, but through examples of things that have happened to other people and how you specifically focus to ensure those things don't occur to your clients. What are the emotions behind your product? For example, people say, I bought a car because it gets good gas mileage. How many people here bought a car just because it gets good gas mileage? I mean, this is a good time to buy cars that only get good gas mileage. Right? How many people did that? Almost no one. If we did, we'd all drive Yugos still. Building credibility, layering on social proof. This is where our stories are accepted by people. What specific proof do you have that someone could expect to experience results similar to your own? Now, I want to do something for you since this is, since I'm not going to be able to get through every bit of this without going faster than you can write. I'll make this available to you via email if you will give me your business card or write your name and email address down on a piece of paper, pass it to the end by the time my talk is done, and I'll make sure that it's emailed to you.
It's on page 345.
345?
No, well, that part of this is, but a lot of what I've talked to you about is not. There's only about 3 pages in that book, and I seriously spent Thursday night, I stayed up until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning putting a lot of this together for you because I wanted to do something that was deeper and more unique than I have for anybody else before. So what physical manifestations of their success can you provide that they will experience? What physical manifestations of their success do you provide? Can you show somebody what the difference is between good photography and bad photography?
They tend to know the bad photography.
When they see it, right?
Yeah.
So the thing to do is just, if I were a photographer, this is what I'd do. I'd say, look, here's what I'd like you to do. Go to the 5 photographers that you've chosen and have each one of them take their very best shot of you. And then you compare and decide based only on that. You know about me, you know about everything else. Go get your pictures, let's all take them. I'm going to take one too. And then you just decide which ones are the best. We're going to mix them up, we're going to shuffle them, it's going to be like a Houdini trick. And then boom, you decide which ones are best. Have everybody take them in exactly the same place where you're going to be married. Make a decision. That's physical proof, right? This is better. What testimonials do you have that you can use? Testimonials are incredibly powerful sources and stories. If you can talk about, you know, Kevin Hogan says my book is incredible. And you should, you know, you might want to consider it as a good tool for improving your persuasion. Now, that's not me saying my book's great. You should buy it. Kevin Hogan said it, not me. What evidence do you have to support what will happen if they don't follow your course of action? What evidence do you have? So what might happen to them? Put them in that place of what could happen. What experience will they have already had that further demonstrates their need for your solution? So what experiences are people having? What challenges are they facing? What experiences do they have that led them to you?